Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video, and today we are going to talk about this fiasco that's been going on DFFOO. I know I'm a little late in covering this. I was kind of debating back and forth whether I wanted to or not, but I do feel like it's worth covering, and some people might be interested in hearing my opinion on it. So basically what we're looking at here is Square Enix released a statement saying that effective March 22nd, they are going to limit the amount of paid gems you can hold to 300,000. This limit has recently been implemented in JP, so they brought it very quickly to global. So it's something they want to implement very quickly. This obviously is a huge problem for the game. I honestly don't see how this is going to help them at all. I honestly don't know what their mindset was when they decided to do this. I feel like it's only going to hurt them, and things are going to get really bad if they don't change it. A lot of members in the community are already talking about like banning gem purchasing, things like that, until they address this or fix this. So for those of you that maybe don't understand why this is a problem, I'll kind of explain it out for you. So basically, the history of DFFOO is that it is a very free-to-play friendly game, right? So players that have been playing a long time, that we also on global have foresight, right? So we know like when we want to pull. Players are meticulous in their pull planning. They allocate certain amount of resources to certain banners, things like that. And because our community is so strong, and we do a lot of planning together as a community, players have been able to save up a lot of resources, combined with DFFOO just being a very generous game. They give out a ton of tickets. They give out a lot of currency very easily in the game. So there are players that have literally millions of gems saved up, right? And what's going to happen is this purchase gems limit is going to be hurting those players for basically just being responsible with their resources and like saving and budgeting. Like these are good skills that we should have as a society, right? Like we should be able to budget, save up money, things like that. And they're trying to basically punish us for that now. So this won't affect every player, right? Like if you're completely free to play and you don't buy gems, like literally nothing will change for you. You're just going to keep playing the game. The problem is those free to play players aren't putting money into the game, and the players that this will hurt are the players that do put money into the game. And you might say, well, if people have over 1 million gems, why are they spending money on the game? They don't need gems. Well, the thing that players are spending money on is they're buying like the MOG passes, they're buying bundles, they're buying costume and weapon glosses. These are fun things. The problem is so they're buying these bundles not really for the gems. They just want the other things that come with them. The problem is all these bundles have gems attached to them. So essentially what the game is saying is if you have over 300k paid gems, you're going to be locked out of buying all this stuff. And it doesn't make any sense, right? So in JP, they actually did release a statement on it because people are wondering like, oh, are they being forced to do this? Is it a gacha law? All that kind of stuff. And essentially, no. Square Enix is just saying, yep, we're deciding this. Because they're only doing it on DFFOO, right? They're not doing this on other games. So they're literally just deciding for DFFOO they want to do this. And I'm paraphrasing here. I don't have the exact verbiage in front of me. But essentially what they said was this was our decision. We're not planning to change it. And that we want to encourage players to spend their free gems. So what's happening, the way this works is when, let's say you have 500k paid gems and you have 500k free gems. Whenever you make a purchase with gems, it's going to use the free gems before the paid gems, okay? Now, for any of you that play other gachas that are wondering, no, DFFOO does not have anything that requires paid gems. There's nothing that, like a lot of gachas will have banners that, hey, here's a paid gem banner or here's a paid whatever banner. DFFOO doesn't do that. So they've always kept track of your paid gems, but there's never really been a reason for it. And now it looks like there is. They want to track how many you have paid and how many you have free for this purpose here, which it's kind of a bummer. So let me lay out a scenario for everybody, okay? And trust me, there are a lot of players, like Mark from the Crystal Chronicles. I believe he's got over 1 million gems, and I think he's sitting at like 500k paid right now, right? So let's say Mark wants to buy a new costume that's coming up. Maybe he wants Rem's costume, right? Well, if Mark wants to buy that, he has to get below 300k paid gems. So it's not just that he has to spend his 500k down to 300. He's got to spend all of his free gems first. So if he's got 500k free gems, he's got to spend that down to 0. And then he's got to spend his 500k down to 300k below that. And then he can buy his costume. Well, now he's just wasted months, years of saving to dump all those gems in just to buy a costume. So I don't blame players like Mark for being very upset about this. This is not good. It's bad because literally the game is cutting off all the revenue. And the thing is I love DFFOO. I love this game, right? I've been playing since day one. I've logged in every day. I have not missed a login. It's a big part of my YouTube channel. I do not want this game to go away. And this game is, from what I could tell, has done basically everything right up until this point. They've had little mistakes here and there, but overall, this has been a very fun, pleasant game. What I've liked about Square Enix is they haven't done anything to seem like money grabs or greedy. They've actually been very generous, right? I would compare it to a game like Naruto Blazing Storm or whatever. That Naruto game that doesn't exist anymore, or whatever it was called. I don't remember. But that game was doing fairly well, and then they implemented PvP, and then they started to come out with these money grab banners with like specific PvP only characters that like gave players a huge advantage if they spent money on the game, right? And that the game went on a downward spiral and basically just ended at that point, right? Well, I don't think this is necessarily meaning like the end of the game, but this could be a starting point to a downward spiral if Squex does not handle this properly. I feel like they really need to listen to the community on this. Do not be stubborn about this and be smart about it, because literally you're like, let's say everybody just continues to play the game after this point, right? Like, let's say players don't necessarily quit playing. Everyone still plays. You're literally just cutting off all of your revenue from your whales. Like, that's it. So there's gonna be a huge dip. Like, there's no way they're not gonna notice how much money they're losing. And right now, a lot of the community has banded together of these people that, because right now we can still spend over 300K. Like, we can still buy stuff, right? So one thought process might be, all right, if you're a whale, you better go in and buy all your bundle packs now while you can. But I think our community is going to do the opposite. We're banding together and we're saying, no, we're going to not buy any gems right now until this. So I would encourage other people to get in on that. I am also going to do that. So when my Mog Pass renewal comes up, if this has not been resolved in a manner that we see fit, then I'm not going to renew my Mog Pass. I was 100%, I said it in my community stream video, I 100% was going to buy Rem's costume because I really like Rem. I am not going to purchase that unless this has been resolved. If they're going to limit this. And let me show you on my account here. So let's look at my account. So I'm not like a huge mega whale, right? But this still is going to affect a player like me. So if I go into my user data, right? If you look down here, I've got, 325k gems, which is, a decent amount of gems. Like, I could basically pity almost 3 bursts in a row back to back to back if I needed to. It's a nice amount of save gems that I have, and I'm basically capped on tickets. I've got like 900 plus tickets, right? So I have a lot of good resources and whatever. Well, my purchased gems are only at 85,000, and that's because I don't do a lot of whaling on the game. I'll buy a costume once in a while, and I upgrade my Mog Pass. Well, here's the thing. For the longest time, I had just been buying the $5 Mog Pass, the really cheap one. But I recently upgraded to the big Mog Pass because I wanted to get more Ultima spheres for my weapon cores, right? So I've actually been spending a little bit more per month on that. And once again, gems are tied to that. Well, now they're immediately going to lose that money from me because I'm not going to want to renew that. Because what's going to happen is, let's say I wasn't doing like a gem ban or anything, right? If I just kept going the way I was, eventually I'm going to hit 300k paid gems. And since I manage my resources well, my free-to-play gems are only going to go up with that. So then at some point, this is going to affect me. So even if you're not like a huge whale, if your purchase gem count is low, you still need to like kind of stand strong with this now, because this will affect you in the future at some point, assuming the game is continuing and doing well and all that. So yeah, I don't know. So you might be asking, okay, well, what's the solution to this, right? Like what do we need to do? So to me, I came up with 3 possible solutions. One is not ideal. So one solution would be to still allow player to buy bundles that have gems, but then just not give them the gems. I still think that would be really crummy, because basically you're taking away a resource from a player. So I don't like that, but that is something that I think would appease some. I know a lot of the whales out there probably would be content buying their weapon bundles or whatever and costumes and not get the gems, but I really don't like that. I don't think that's going to be a good solution. I think there'd still be too many upset players, right? Another solution that I can think of is that you just separate gems from the packs. So if you buy gems, those are just in gem packs alone. And then if you want to buy, and you could still keep the traditional bundles, right, intact, but just make a separate bundle pack that has the gems separated, and then you adjust the cost so it's maybe a little bit cheaper because you're not getting the gems. To me, that would be good, because then the whales can still buy their costumes, they can still buy their mog passes, they can still buy their whatever, but then just charge a little bit less, take the gems out, and then you can still keep the other packs with the gems for the players that can still purchase them. That might be a good like middle ground that we could find. Okay. Obviously, the number one solution is that they just realize this is an absolutely terrible idea and just take it back. Like, that's, I think, what most players want. Like, this is just ridiculous. Like, it's actually quite shocking to me because the game has been so generous. And I feel like they've done such a good job with this game to all of a sudden do this ridiculous big money grab thing, which usually in a gacha, when I see these big money grab things, it's like a big red flag to me. I started playing the Disgaea RPG, and there was so many like stupid big money grab things. I was just immediately out. Like I was out. And that's one of those games that has like paid only banners and stuff like that. And they're just shoving banners at you left and right. DFFOO has had a really nice rhythm to their banners, really good content, really good like amount of gems and tickets coming in. And I think part of what it is maybe they shot themselves in the foot because they've been too generous, and now they're realizing that like they're finding it hard to get revenue out of players. I think that this is where it is stemming from. But I liked their model where, to me, it was more about buying the monthly Mog Pass than it was about like just going in and buying gem packs, because I'm pretty sure players don't buy like gem packs very much. It's really about costumes, the in-game bundles, and I thought that was a good formula. Like, let players have a lot of resource. The free-to-play players can have a lot of fun. They can summon and get all their characters, right? And then the whales, but I don't have their money. I don't know their demographics. I don't know what they're making, right? So clearly they're not making what they want, and they're doing this as a desperate way to increase their revenue. But this isn't going to work. It's not going to work. So anyways, guys, I've ranted long enough. Let me know what your thought is on this whole situation. Let me know if you agree or disagree with me. Let me know if you can think of other solutions that would be good. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you all in the next one.